Welcome.
Hello, neighbors.
Hello. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
We need to
today.
talk a lot slower this episode.
I know.
The way Mr. Rogers talks, not we're jumping the gun, but
His voice
so
is tremendous.
slow.
He's slow, but that's what draws you into him, I think.
Because you can tell he thinks like it's very thoughtful way of speaking.
Yeah.
Like everything he says, you can tell it's very thoughtful. Unlike us, we just
Yell it out.
yell it out.
Yell it out.
Fast.
Say it. Quick. Get it over with.
Did you see I didn't see it, but I saw the trailer of
We are doing Mr. Rogers.
Won't You Be My Neighbor
A lot of great quotes in here.
on Netflix.
Yes.
Did you see the Tom Hanks movie, the Mr. Rogers movie?
You know, I didn't
He was.
watch
It sounded like Forrest Gump. His accent. I was like, why is he making him Southern? He's
when
like,
I saw a clip, I thought the same thing.
I like sweaters. I was like, wait, what? Not Southern. He's from Pittsburgh.
He's not retarded. He just seems
Speaks slowly.
slowly.
He's deliberate. Damn it.
I wrote the first thing. Fred's voice is so calming.
For the record, I'm a bigger Jim Henson fan than I am a Mr. Rogers fan.
Ooh,
But
okay.
I love them both. They
Okay.
both
I love both.
bring me back to childhood. But I am a bigger Jim Henson fan than I am a
Yeah,
Mr.
because
Rogers.
Animal was my favorite character, and I met this guy last night that was like, "Of course it was, but that's everybody's favorite. I'm more of a Dr. Teeth," and I'm like, "I'm gonna make
Okay.
you Dr. Tooth because you're gonna be missing some."
Okay, pal. Who
I
cares?
was so mad.
Who gets mad about somebody's favorite Muppet?
He had a shirt on with the Muppets, but it wasn't like a colorful. It was definitely like, you work for that company. How'd you get that shirt? They don't sell that kind
Where
of
did
shirt.
he get it?
He said he worked for the company. He worked for Disney or Henson or
Okay.
whomever. Who bought Henson out?
Yeah,
Disney.
Disney. So he worked for Disney.
Disney kind of like they're keeping it kind of like they don't
Yes.
incorporate it into like Disneyland or like they're kind of keeping it away.
Yeah, he was at the Comedy Store and I immediately noticed when I was talking to him afterwards that he had a Disney shirt on. I mean, what do you call it? Muppet shirt on.
Mr.
'Cause
Rogers.
I noticed Animal immediately.
Mr. Rogers, an alum of my college, Rollins
Wow.
College, Winter Park, Florida.
Wow.
Old Fred Rogers went there. I took a music class, and part of the class was they made it you had to go see like a live music show on campus. Like,
Yeah.
so I went to this. It was like an orchestra or something, and part of the show, unbeknownst to me, Mr. Rogers' wife was going to be playing the piano live.
Yes.
And so I didn't think anything of it, but then they said her name, which I didn't like. I don't know who Mr. Rogers' wife is. Then I look in the front row, Fred Rogers sitting right front row.
I would have been like,
But it was weird because I hadn't seen him like at all from like pretty much since when I was a kid. But then I'm seeing him live. I'm like, oh, he's like super old. Like, it was just weird to see.
yeah.
I recognized him, but I was like, oh man, he's definitely different than the last I saw him.
But this is how I know I'm either bipolar or something's wrong. My favorite, Mr. Rogers, and then right to Alice Cooper. So that's an
interesting dichotomy.
a wide range.
Mr. Rogers and I, after that
Problems.
night, we had a wild night together.
Really?
Threesome.
Don't lie. You know what?
We were doing drugs
Yeah.
until the early
What if
hours.
he was doing that? What if he's like, I'm moving to the villages and I'm
Jeez.
getting coked up. Small strokes.
That Reggie guy's
Me and
like.
Small Strokes are going to hang out. Tremendous.
So it opens with a black and white clips of Fred Rogers sitting at a piano in 1967. And he says, one of my main jobs is to help children through the mass media, to help them through the difficult modulations of life. And he was talking modulations in music.
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe I'm being too philosophical here, but that's just how I see it. And he was like showing you notes of like this note and this note are far away, or these chords
Yeah.
are far away, and like I need to help, blah blah blah. They said he's an ordained minister, which I forgot.
I never knew that. I didn't know. I knew he was religious. I just didn't. Maybe they didn't say it later. I read this book 6 times, but it's mostly quotes.
I read the book, I forget what it's called, and they had the journalist in this as a talking head who wrote it. He was a Rolling Stones reporter, Rolling Stone reporter, not Stones. And he,
I'm rubbing off on him.
yeah, and he had an assignment to work with Mr. Rogers, and he's going through a divorce. This is what the Tom Hanks movie was based on. And so he's going through a divorce, and Mr. Rogers basically like helps him
Oh, okay.
through it as he is like doing this piece on Mr. Rogers later becomes a book.
Oh.
And so when he first meets Mr. Rogers,
Did you watch the Tom Hanks
I
one?
didn't, but I read the
either.
book.
Okay.
But he goes to his
read the book.
Pittsburgh Athletic Club where they showed Mr. Rogers swimming in this.
Yeah.
And Mr. Rogers in the locker room just gets completely naked in front of him, and he's like, "You said you wanted all access. This is a side of me not a lot of people get to see."
This is what I wanted more of
in the
in
doc?
this doc.
You wanted more dick.
I wanted more something, but like, because like I told you about that Kurt Metzger joke that I
Yes.
love, where he just is like, "You're not gonna believe this. I watched the whole thing. You're gonna be shocked. He didn't fuck any of them kids." Like, that is so funny to me, because truly you do watch. We're so fucked up lately, you know, nowadays, that we're like, well, he definitely had a secret and he was funneling kids through the Hollywood system via Pittsburgh.
It's gone from no one, like back in the day, like no one believed anyone was molesting kids, to
Right.
nowadays it's like,
Everyone.
oh, that guy works like
Yeah.
anywhere near kids, they're guilty. Like, it's gone completely the other way.
Yeah.
Overcompensating.
One time we were sitting in a park on 10th Street in New York, me and Andrew, two idiots, sitting there eating a sandwich, whatever. And
One sandwich, Lady in the Tramp.
No, we weren't crazy.
Okay.
So we had our own sandwich, but we just thought, oh, it's a park. And then we saw a sign that says, if you are an adult not accompanied by a child, you cannot be in here. And I thought, well, that's a dick thing. What about us? And then I was like, oh, they mean predators. Let's get up. Like, oh, fuck. It was in the park.
I'm
Blatant.
not leaving. I thought it was a cool intro they did for this, because they have a young Mr. Rogers singing the classic intro to the show is kind of
Yeah.
like a welcome into the documentary. Then they have a clip of him singing it live with kids, and then a fat kid touching Mr. Rogers' face. Like, the kid couldn't see, but I think he could see. He's just
Stop. I think he had something wrong with
He
him.
just
Yeah,
touching his
Jeffrey. Yeah, he was feeling him up. He was.
I get sick so much from my kids, so when I see that, I'm like, don't touch his face. He's going to get sick. He's really touching his own
You
face.
little.
I was like, oh, go wash your face, Mr. Rogers. Even though he's not with us anymore.
Oh yeah, he must have been sick all the time. He was around kids.
Oh, I'm sure. He's either like immune system of steel, or
Right.
he's the other way, like we
Yeah.
get sick all the time.
But
It's
he
hard to
says
say.
love is at the root of everything, or the lack of love.
He
is
said
at the root
all
of
learning, all parenting, all relationships. It's love or the lack of it.
everything. Yeah.
Which is he has a lot of good like philosophical
Yeah, they're
quotes.
in here. They're great.
His producer, I think, either that or director, the woman they kept showing.
Oh yeah.
She's like, if you take all the elements of good television and you do the opposite, you have Mr. Rogers. She's like, it was slow. It was
Yeah.
like he broke a lot of
was-
conventions.
Yeah, her. She was great. But it was slow. It was. I came up. I wrote that somewhere. I don't know why, but I think I figured out why I liked him so much, because I was living in the reality of chaoticness.
When his is just calm, serenity.
and slow, and he went in the house and nobody was in there, and it was clean and everything was neat. And
There
was a
weren't 10 other
traffic-
kids.
There was a traffic light that we needed in our place. I mean, we definitely needed a traffic sign. Like,
He would feed the fish. He would just sit
Oh,
there
yeah.
and sprinkle it.
and we always had fish. We always had
Hello,
everything. We
fish.
had every animal you could think of.
He had 10 animals. He was set to go to the seminary to become a minister, and he
Yeah.
saw, like, he came home, visited his parents from college, Rollins College, Winter Park. He saw TV, which was new at that time.
This guy got an entry level, ground floor, ground zero.
People were throwing pies at each other, and he was not happy. He's like, this could be a wonderful tool. Why is it being used this way?
Everything he was watching, I was like, I love that. And I'm like, oh yeah, that. And then I'm like, oh, we don't like it.
It's weird. He seemed like he had a sense of humor, but he also seemed very serious. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he seemed like he could laugh a
Right.
little bit, but like the pies, like he's like, this is upsetting.
Well, it wasn't that it was upset. It was like you're wasting this amazing tool you have to teach, or
But not everything has to be. You know what I mean? That's my
Exactly.
thing. It's like there's a middle
Sure,
ground.
We're a little more well-rounded. This
Yeah.
is his.
Yeah,
nutty-
this is his jam.
This is his crazy thing.
So he told his parents, I'm getting into TV. And they're like, but you've never even seen it. He's like,
How do you know what it is?
he's like, I'm doing it.
I know my shit.
So he did a show called, I'd never heard of this show, called Children's Corner. It was like a local Pittsburgh show.
Did you have local shows like that at home?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
did we. We had the Al Albert show. Did you have that?
No, I had Fat Albert.
A
With
couple-
a great man behind it.
A couple people I know were on the Al Albert show. I wasn't.
Yeah, you didn't
My
get
little
picked.
sister Edie was in the audience, I think, with little Melissa.
Did you ever watch Bozo the Clown, the Chicago show?
Oh, look at him.
Do you know what I'm talking
no,
about?
but I remember.
I
everybody
used to
made
watch
fun
that
of
as a
it.
kid.
Yeah.
Like, he would give away like the 3-foot tall Tootsie Rolls, and he had that guy. I think some guy named like Houdini was his sidekick. It was great.
I don't remember that. If I saw that, I'd be freaking out to get on it so I can get a Tootsie Roll.
It was like a 6-foot
If
long
Al
one.
Alberts gave out Tootsie Rolls, I'd get on there. Look up Al Alberts. I think I'm saying it right.
He'd let you
know
see-
how I love to mess things
He'd
up.
let you see his Tootsie
I wonder
Roll.
if he was just local or if he was famous. There he is.
Look at that hair.
Ah, tremendous.
He looks like a lounge singer.
Look at all those kids got to be on there and got to sing.
It's a singing show? It's a
They got to
showcase?
sing. They got to do whatever they, it was like a showcase.
This guy, he has a real game show look. He's got big white
Tremendous.
teeth.
TV host and singer. He
Hello,
liked to sing.
kids.
And it was just local to us, Alex.
It looks
It was
like
PA for sure.
Al Albert's here.
But
It's
it
a
was-
great name, Al
Yeah,
Alberts.
great. You could win a walk on, a chance to go on there. It was always like that. In
You could win
Philadelphia.
time on his lap if you did well. Come on over. You win.
Sit and spin. What?
Mr. Rogers, so he's doing this show.
Legacy of Philadelphia. Where
He did a show called Teeny Boppers. Oh, boy.
WKBS and then WPVI.
WKBS.
Yes. Yeah.
WNBC. Mr.
Teddy
Rogers.
Pendergrass. Teddy was on there?
Oh,
Oh,
Teddy.
no. The show. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It helped launch Andrew. Yeah, wow.
Sister Sledge.
Yeah.
Look at
And
that.
Teddy. Teddy was phenomenal.
Al Alberts.
Love me some Teddy.
Well, Mr. Rogers was doing this show. Someone gave him a tiger puppet, like randomly. He'd never done any, no puppets, nothing.
We had a real tiger.
And he randomly did it on a show where he put it through a clock and just said,
Yeah.
gave like a news update.
No, he was like, Christopher Columbus discovered America. And I was like, oop, you're going to get canceled.
Too soon. Too soon after the holiday.
Yeah,
Is it
dude.
a holiday anymore? I don't even know what's going on.
In Philadelphia, they had the parade. Nobody's business.
So he said he never expected to use puppets, but like it was such a hit that it
Yeah.
became a thing.
But
Him talking as the puppets, the kids was so weird.
I know.
The kids
but-
wouldn't even look at him as a person.
So my question
Because he'd be
is,
like this, like say me and you were talking, he's like this, and the kid's just looking here. They don't even
Yeah.
look at him.
it's
And he's just
smart.
like, he seems kind of nice. I agree. He does seem kind of nice. And the kid's just
the
like,
kids' bangs were so
and
uncomfortable.
what the kids say, like,
I like
my
you.
dog died
Oh,
or
yeah,
something.
No, he said my dog's ear fell off.
No, that
On
was
the washer.
No, that was the kid in the class who was talking about.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Something. The dog died.
He goes, my dog's ear fell off in the dryer.
that
And
one.
he's like, well,
yeah.
sometimes
happens
that
a lot.
happens to stuffed animals. And I was like, what if he's wrong and it was a real dog?
Because it was a real dog, and they put the dog in the washing machine just to see what would
Its
happen.
ear fell off.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that he was showing that he could talk to kids, like understanding their imagination and the way they talk, and then what is that?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought it was Fred. It's not me, right?
No, it's just somebody
It's
out
coming
there.
from the
Oh,
hall.
it's just somebody
Oh, it's
out
just
there.
from the hall.
Anyway, I was like, wait, are we playing a clip? I should be quiet. But anyway, so he learned, he was like, I can speak to children a certain way. But the puppet thing, do you think he started that? Because that's how they do therapy.
In therapy? I don't know. They didn't say that, but he did have a mentor, Dr. Margaret McFarland,
Yeah.
who was like his mentor in
Or maybe she was doing that, so he was using her technique to.
It's possible, or he just found it was a way in, to
It was
get
a way to
him
get them to listen,
to
and
open up and
open up is
and
a big
feel
deal.
comfortable.
Yeah, because the kid was telling the whole story,
And
he
then
was like, oh,
then
that's sad.
then basically he was like, oh, like, can I talk? Like, 'cause he's like, I think it's time for you to go away, and like I'm gonna talk, and like you tell
You're
the
gonna
kid
go,
was like,
I think I need to go back in the box, is what he said. And I was like, that is all kinds of creepy. And it's just because I'm a jaded person now. Fred, I was a nice, normal kid who would watch you and hope I could move in with you and help you keep your sweaters in order. I even wore this sweater that my mom bought me.
You changed into it when you got on the show.
Probably 1992 or something. She loved to buy me these cardigans.
Is that Contempo?
No, but it's this shirt, like it's a separate thing. It's not connected.
It's beautiful.
It's very uncomfortable.
You should start wearing it on stage. Did you
Isn't
like
it odd?
Mr. Rogers' kids? One guy was pretty grizzly, had a big beard.
Yeah, who was the guy that looked like Joaquin Phoenix? Was he a reporter?
That
or
was the
he-
journalist, the guy
The
from
journalist,
Rolling
right,
Stone.
right, okay. That's right. But the kids, complete different.
Yeah, one looked like very corporate. One looked like pretty bukai, like a big beard.
Yeah,
One of them
looked
he
like a
caught
little more
smoking
trauma.
reefer as a kid.
Yeah, one had a little more
One,
something
the
going
one
on.
that one said it's hard having your dad be the second coming of Jesus.
I get that. Can you imagine? Mr. Rogers is your fucking
You do
dad?
anything wrong in school, like you.
Like I remember, that's what you would make fun. I'm putting this on because I'm cold, but this is because this sweater has nothing to it. But this is my Fred wore a lot of loud colors, so I thought this would be good. Could I put this on? I'm freezing. This is.
Look at
I
that.
wore this before here,
It's your Fred Rogers orange shirt.
but he always had colors. Look, this one with the bow tie. But can you imagine coming home like? My dad was nothing close to Mr. Rogers.
Really? I always pictured him like Mr. Rogers, especially when you said he would put guns to people's heads.
Wait a minute. But see how he wore the red and the green? He always wore colors.
Look at Fred. Look at that pose.
Yeah, and he was shocked when people thought he was gay, and I was like, wait a minute. I thought that was his son. Nope, that's his wife.
I thought his son looks a lot
Oh.
like the wife. I thought it was his son as well from a distance.
But he was so sweet. He was just a sweet man. Like it's just if he was.
But
gay,
having him as your dad would be hard, I think.
was yeah,
Because he
fuck
was such
that.
like a moralist. Like I think anything you would feel like you had no space to do anything wrong.
like what the way he was, if you want to call it sneaking in religion. I'm not an advocate of this. I don't like this. I don't like people pushing religion on anyone.
It's weird that he never did it overtly, but he did.
He did it.
He
but
did infuse it.
This is how you
subtly.
should do it. If you want to do it, infuse it. Do it this way, because at least he was doing it with the overall message being love one another.
Yes, it wasn't.
It doesn't mean what you believe
And
is
it wasn't
right
like
or wrong
dislike
or anything.
anyone else,
Exactly.
or your beliefs are above anyone else.
Your
It was
beliefs are
just-
bullshit. Mine are correct. Yours are wrong. Like he was just trying, just be a nice.
His big thing was like
person.
love yourself and love your neighbor.
your
were like his
neighbor.
big
Yeah,
2 points.
that is.
But don't
the
covet.
Bible.
Don't covet your neighbor's wife. That's not good.
He didn't do that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just telling.
By the way, I mean, I met Skirt a little bit. Like I wasn't thinking he was with the kids, but I was like, at least have an affair with Lady Elaine, or you know what I mean, like or,
Lady Evelyn.
Lady Evelyn.
She
yeah,
wasn't bad.
Lady Elaine was my
Elaine
favorite
was the
puppet.
What about Francois?
Lady Elaine had the nose. He could use that.
What about Officer Clemens?
Yeah.
Francois.
Hey man,
He's
Any
more than
of
washing
those.
the feet of the
any of
no,
those
I'd
would
say that
work.
much.
Mr. Rogers' son said his dad's inner child like never really went away, which you can see. He's obviously
Right.
has some
Same.
childlike tendencies, but his childlike isn't like fun. It's more like, you know what I mean?
It's more serious,
It's
but
not playing, but it's more like let me get into the mindset of a child, like the serious mindset of a child.
Yeah, and also like him and his wife, and I'm jumping ahead, but they said that they weren't allowed to express when they
Anger.
were young.
They said no anger.
anything really. But it was like that's that old school mentality
Yeah,
of just
keep
grin and
everything
bear it,
in.
shut it up, move it on, that kind of shit.
Shut up, Rogers. He was-
Quiet, Rogers.
He was bedridden a lot as a kid. He had scarlet fever,
Yeah.
among other ailments. He seemed like a frail, kind of sickly kid, so he was in bed a lot. So he said he would use his imagination. That's where the voices and a lot of that stuff.
Yeah,
It
sure.
was just a one-man show by himself.
But
in
he
there.
basically, like someone like that, he lost his childhood because he was sick so much.
Yeah.
He said like scarlet fever. That's wild.
He
shit.
grew up loaded, by the way. I think his family's
Very
old
wealthy.
Pittsburgh money. I think maybe even oil money, like tycoon money, like back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he had, in the book, I think he had a driver to school, like a legit, like in the back.
Well, he was also sick a lot.
And they're like, Freddie,
What did it say? Was a successful businessman who was president of
the McFeely Brick Company.
Mr. McFeely.
One of Latrobe's most prominent businesses.
Yeah.
Mother Nancy knitted sweaters
Sweaters.
for American soldiers.
All this is all tying in.
Yeah, the sweaters, the McFeely, the trolley man.
He's also an only child, yeah?
I think. Or maybe he may have had a stepsister, I think, or something. I don't know.
Whoa.
Or a sister who came way after him. I could be wrong on that. Check me on
He had
that.
a sister, Elaine.
There it is.
Elaine. Okay. Oh,
Lady Elaine.
think
right.
that's
Lady
her
Elaine,
name
because
for-
she
yeah.
was
Who she
mean.
adopted. I was right.
Okay.
I knew it wasn't so he was 11, so there was a huge age gap.
Yeah.
Maybe that was his first like let me relate to you. And he's like, "Hello.
Hello.
This is
Talk to the puppet.
I guess at this same time, there was like a fortuitous, the school in Pittsburgh was like really getting into early childhood education. It was the same time he was getting into it. And so that they wanted physicians to get special training to deal with kids.
Yeah.
And he joined this group with that psychologist, Dr. Margaret McFarland, and like they kind of came up with ways to deal with kids. His thing was he wanted to take TV work, add the ministry in, and then childhood development background, and that became like Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. That was the three things he was bringing to the table. And stand-up comedy was the fourth. He's just doing dick jokes. By the way, how good was the edgy stage guy?
I love him.
He stole the show.
He stole it for me. Yeah, he was great because he was just so laid back, but he was also like,
But he had like
cool.
tattoos. He was like a union guy. He had like a ponytail
he
when they were
was
showing
wild,
him.
but he was like, yeah, we did wild shit, but we were not like, it was fun. We just had fun.
And Mr. Rogers liked them. I don't think he like mingled with them a lot, but he did like them.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
were fucking with him a little bit, and he was laughing.
They did fuck with him.
How good was Mr. Rogers' first week on the air? It was like, what the fuck? So this is 1968. In Mr. Rogers' first week, Vietnam War is going on. And King Friday in the Make Believe.
King Friday the 13th.
Yes.
I'll be at Uncle Vinny's. Anyway. I'm sorry. It'll be passed. It'll be passed.
King Friday wants to build a wall to prevent change. He's
Yeah.
like, which is a lot of this is topical
Bizarro,
now. I was like,
yeah.
this is weird.
This is like The Simpsons. He's predicting
We've come
shit.
back
Yeah.
full circle. And Mr. Rogers is playing a soldier. Well, he does all the voices, a lot of the voices. And he's doing a song. He's saying, barbed wire is very sharp about the fence. I was like, what am I watching? This is not like the Mr. Rogers I saw. When I was before. I was after the war.
Yeah.
Post-war.
We were post-war kids.
King Friday's like, oh, no loud noises. I'm fucking freaking out. So
But
that
he talked about everything.
Yeah, he didn't-
whatever was in the news, whatever was on, he talked about it.
no
he addressed it,
stone
and that was
unturned.
amazing.
He did in the book they talked about. He did a long thing about flushing the toilet because one kid expressed a fear to him that the kid you would be flushed down, and he did this whole long thing on the show about like you don't have to be scared of the toilet.
But that's a serious condition for a kid. They get crazy like that. My sister fell in the toilet one time.
Jeez, she gotten
did.
out.
It was hard. She was just stuck in there. The bowl, I guess the lid was up, because boys, they don't. And she went in. She was stuck in there. And my mother had to come up and heave-ho her
She
out.
use the plunger to get some.
Heave-ho. Poor Kathleen.
They said Mr. Rogers always came in the door the exact same way and got changed. And that was to show kids, like, we're going to relax and, like, we're going to have fun. Like,
Exactly. You made everything seem normal, Mr. Rogers.
I think it was almost, too, like I'm your parent figure coming home from, like, I have a serious job out there. Like, and I come in here, I'm going to put on my Keds, my blue Keds.
As I turn around to see the door to our closet in my mother's house that was broken and half off the hinges, his was secured and didn't have any holes in it or feet through it or anything.
The crew guy who was in this, I don't remember his name, but he was in the book. No, I actually saw I saw another documentary, but I couldn't remember what it was. I thought it was this, but it wasn't.
I think you might be right because some of them I was like, I remember this, but that was from something different.
So this crew guy in another.
That's why, when I asked you about the other one, I was like, the King of Kong. I was like, shit. And then you asked me about this one. I was like, yeah, that's the one I watched.
in another documentary I saw, this crew member, he had gone into the closet.
Yeah,
that Mr.
they
Rogers
showed it.
No, this is a different one.
Oh.
He got into the closet where Mr. Rogers gets his sweater, and he was buck naked
Oh,
standing
shit,
in there.
shit.
And he opens it, and he said Mr. Rogers just started dying laughing.
Because they would play pranks like that, which I love.
Which is crazy
Like,
on a show like this.
a kid's show. Yeah, like why would that be? But these are
You better be
they're
careful.
all adults.
You better be
know?
careful that there's no kid on set that day. You're like, oh,
Well, he
uh-oh.
didn't. Oh yeah, if they
Occasionally
did, it was
there'd
a
be kids.
guest.
Yeah.
yeah, it was a guest.
But I'm sure he knew.
Yeah.
Am I making this up? Did Steve Buscemi work on the Mr. Rogers show as a crew member?
I know Michael Keaton did.
Oh, Michael Keaton is maybe who I'm thinking of. I think that's who I'm thinking of.
I got very excited.
Yeah, I think it is Michael
Steve
Keaton.
Buscemi. But Keaton is from Pittsburgh, so that would make more sense.
He's hanging out with these rough and this guy showing his dick on set.
Keaton is definitely a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah, I think it might be
wait,
Michael Keaton I'm thinking of.
Is he Philly or Pittsburgh? I think he's Pittsburgh.
Michael Keytown. I'm Batman.
I'm Batman. One of my favorite Batmans, and I don't even like superheroes.
He's a Comedy Store comic, wasn't
yes, he was.
Back in the day.
I've been trying to get him on the Comedy Store podcast for a long time, Mr. Keaton.
Why don't you get him on this podcast?
Well, he won't respond to any of it. So
I'll call him. I
you
got
call
his
him.
number.
You hook him up. Wait, well, was he on there
Before
before making it big at Hollywood? Michael Keaton, $7 jobs.
he would work on Fred's crew from time to time. So it looked like he worked for the studio, and he just kind of they would
Got
rotate
it.
people around.
They said he once spread his cheeks in front of Mr. Rogers while he was eating, and he loved it.
Mr. Mom could very well be one of my favorite movies.
He threw some locks at Michael Keaton's asshole. That's alleged.
Are you a allegedly? Are you a Mr. Mom fan?
I don't remember it super well, but I do remember enjoying it.
So Mr. Mom came out on like VHS or something, and you could get McDonald's was doing this promo. Look, I lost Jeff.
I'm back with
Christopher
my toy.
Columbus was discovered. Anyway,
I'm back with my toy.
but go to McDonald's, get a Big Mac, and I was like, I've never had a Big Mac. I don't like Big Mac. I don't think I like that. So I made my friend Ivy come with me. She's like, I'll get a Big Mac. I'm like, I'll buy it for you. And then they give us a free Michael Keaton, Mr. Mom DVD or VHS. And I couldn't wait to get home to play.
Really? Well, I've never heard.
I love Mr. Mom.
When were they were giving out VHS?
I know.
We grew up with the Adams Family.
McDonald's was
like
wild.
the 91
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
they did that a couple times.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That's
McDonald's was
interesting.
do some wild shit, but I didn't like one. I mean, it was cheap, but I'd have to steal the money to get it anyway. But then I would. What?
I'm just.
Let's go back to Mr. Rogers. He's a hero.
I'm just trying
What
to
a
get you.
hero.
You're selling the tape.
I'm
for
getting you to
twice
talk so much so that you get arrested is my goal on this show.
I'm already gonna get in trouble for the other stories.
The make-believe people on the show, like all the puppets, were based on people in Fred's life, and the lady who was kind of a bitch was
aunt.
his sister-in-law, I thought. His wife's sister.
Oh, okay. She
the
goes,
kids,
what can I
the
say?
kids' aunt.
Yeah, right. Okay, their aunt. Right. He goes, yeah, that was Aunt Elaine or whatever. Is it Elaine? Lady Elaine?
Lady Elaine, yeah.
She was one of my favorite
with
characters.
the big
by
nose,
the way.
and she looked like her.
Yeah.
She looked like the lady.
The protruding nose and the rosy cheeks, and she goes, "What can I say? I was a witch." She was great.
I love the Henrietta Pussycat who just says meow 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 meow. Hello meow meow meow.
It
Hello.
was so fucking calming. And let me tell you, my
Meow,
brothers
meow,
did not want to watch
meow.
this. They did not like this.
What they want?
This was all me.
What do they want to see?
Anything. What was that one Billy was obsessed with? Superheroes, but like there was like Rope Man, Diaper Baby.
Oh, I remember that one.
What was
yeah.
that?
I forget the name of it, but I do remember
they were
it.
the fucked up kind, right?
They were like offshoot, like
They were the best ones. We always
The
Billy.
Mighty
I was always
Heroes?
going Rope Man.
he had like rope arms.
Yeah, but he could do it long. Diaper Baby was great.
Meow,
Mighty
meow.
Heroes.
Meow meow
Yes.
meow meow meow.
Meow meow meow. They rather Strong Man.
Tornado Man. Yeah, I remember this
Rope
show.
Man was
Cuckoo
the
Man.
best. Cuckoo. There I am. Diaper Man, not Diaper Baby. Diaper Man.
He's a redheaded, diapered,
Yet
fully
fully-
articulate baby. Of course.
It's tremendous.
Mr. Rogers, by the way, hated stuff like this.
Well,
He's like,
I
it's
agree with him.
mindless.
I agree with
Stupid.
him with the superheroes because, like, this is silly, right? This right here is what it all should be. The mighty heroes, because they're ridiculous. Not, but Batman and Super, you fucking idiots walk around and think you're them. And I say you, as men.
Not me.
Andrew thinks he's Superman.
He
Come
is.
on.
To me, he is.
I'm a Superman.
When
Get it?
when he puts
It's a
those gloves
concept.
on, that's the cape.
Ugh. Batman. You all think you're superheroes and you're not. This is what it should be. A baby with a diaper and bad skin for some reason. Rope Man. Tremendous.
I forgot about this show. I'm gonna have to look this
Great.
up on YouTube later.
Yeah. Make your kids watch to see if they like it.
I tried making Baby Bar watch Mr. Rogers, and she hated it. But it's just because TV now is so fast paced that I think it's just completely foreign to her. She's like, what is this?
I don't think it was because I do like fast paced TV stuff, but I also it was a break from what I was real life to me.
Yeah.
It was so
Well,
calm.
I think our lives are so calm at home that it didn't work. They said they were kind of uncertain with what they had with old Freddie Rogers, but he goes to WGBH in Boston.
Yeah.
I think Boston, I don't know if it's the hub of PBS, but there is a big PBS.
Probably. It's the funding.
Yeah,
right?
and there's
'Cause
a
he
big
had
PBS thing in Boston. I think Arthur, the show may be done out of there. So they want.
Arthur the cartoon?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Arthur, as they say it, that my mom would say.
Arthur.
So they wanted
Another
to do
one of my favorite movies, Arthur.
a big wig at WGBH, liked Mr. Rogers, like when he was on the come up. He wasn't huge yet. She wanted to do a Mr. Rogers Day for families to come see him, and they said that the
Yeah.
line was like 5 blocks long. And they're like,
You
"Oh shit!"
never know the impression you make.
They're
on
like, "We
people.
got something here. Fred's got it. He's got that it factor for these
They
kids."
were lining up to give their kids to Fred.
And he would sit there. He would talk. I saw the journalist said he would, like, even if he was running late or something and he had to shoot,
Sure.
he would sit and talk to every kid because he's like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be a dick. And
He's like, I have to change my sweater, but I'm going to wait.
And they'd be like, "Oh, Mr. Rogers." I didn't know this. He was a lifelong Republican. But I think the Republican Party
assume
was
that.
different then than it is now.
Oh, of course, everything's different now. But also, I'm a registered Republican, but he was a Republican. It was religious more, I bet.
Yes.
I'm going to definitely say that. And there was different things.
And it wasn't, I don't think there were I'm sure there were extremists then, but now everything is so polarizing.
Now it's like, I don't know who I am. Like, I'm definitely a middle grounder. I think they've both gone back.
Well,
crazy.
there's no moderation in
Yeah,
anything.
exactly.
As Christianity, they said, was a widespread faith. Like we said, it wasn't like an exclusivity.
There was he was showing, this freaked me out, but they were showing, like, when you were talking about the superheroes thing, I don't think I'm jumping ahead yet, but they were showing, like, the kids, like, having sword fights, and then they jump out of the TV and give it to the kids, and then the kids start having sword fights. Did you see that?
I think so, yeah.
It was something about the commercials.
The kids
and
were
he
like
was
wrestling,
saying,
like
yeah, he
battling
was
each
like,
other.
this is crazy what they're promoting. But I don't know if you guys, I did a, you know, Anthony Cumia, right?
Mhm.
So I did his podcast, and he was playing commercials from back then, like the 60s and 70s. And there was one, like, they were like, I have AIDS. You can look it up. I was crying, laughing. I was like, this isn't real. And AIDS was a dietary supplement or something, a drink. And go get AIDS. And it was a commercial. There she is. AIDS. Please, I can't.
Is that you?
Good at you. Me, Anthony Cumia, and crying. I couldn't.
Oh, it's diet candy.
Yeah, I couldn't fucking.
Tried Fad Diet's powder
shit.
pills. Still, my weight's been up and down like a yo-yo until the AIDS plan taught me how to.
Back.
Wait, you might have to play it again. I'm so sorry we fucked it up.
Here we go.
I've tried Fad Diet's powders, pills. Still, my weight's been up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah, you look huge.
Until the AIDS plan taught me
like
how to
tiny.
take
Until
off
the
weight and
AIDS
help
plan.
keep it off.
AIDS may taste like a candy, but AIDS contains one of the most effective appetite suppressants you can buy. And there's no stimulant in AIDS that could make you nervous.
With AIDS, I ate less, so the weight came on.
You will eat less.
It's loaded with calories. AIDS
loaded
helps
with
keep me in
cock.
control.
Let the AIDS plan teach you how to take off weight and help keep it off.
Jeez.
Try peanut butter AIDS.
Peanut butter AIDS. Peanut butter AIDS is the best kind.
What if they said magic AIDS? Wait a minute. This is foreshadowing.
That's,
but the commercials were so crazy back then.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he was showing, like, all
The
different
remember all the
ones.
cigarette commercials?
Cigarettes, but also, like, you know, buy her a vacuum so she can be ready for you to come home from work. And it's like literally like the guy coming home angry, like, where's my pot roast, you know? And she's like, I was vacuuming, you know? I mean, it was so bad. I was like, these are real? And the age one fucked me up. But yeah.
Different
but I'm
era.
saying like that jarred me. That commercial they showed, it's real men fighting. Then they jump out, give it to kids, and then kids are fighting with swords. And he's like trying to defend TV. Now he's on trial for TV, which is what he was doing.
Yeah, that's when he goes to Congress.
Yeah.
The guy, I've seen this video before. It's become a famous like YouTube video.
Well, sure, he saved it.
Where Mr. Rogers is to go in front of Congress to speak to the senator, this guy John Pastore, who seems super grumpy. He's like a gray hair, glasses, and a little mustache. And he's just like, all right, I've heard it all. Rogers, you got the floor.
I don't want to hear any more speeches.
He's like,
he didn't want to hear any more.
He said he didn't want it to be.
reading.
He didn't want to be read to. Everyone's reading their shit to him. And this is what came up because Trump pulled the funding for kids like PBS, and
That's why. Yeah,
it came back
and it
up.
was Nixon that pulled it for him.
Yeah. So they were trying to pull the funding, and Fred Rogers goes in front of them to be like, "We need the funding, and I'll tell you why." And so and the lady goes, when I heard him say he doesn't want anything read, she's like, "Oh shit!" He was gonna read like a 10-page thing.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh no, Fred."
And so he basically is like, he speaks from the heart. He starts talking to this guy about like, he's like, here's what I'll summarize what I was going to read to you. I'm not going to read to you.
Yeah.
And he recites his song to the guy. He's like, what do you do with all that mad? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy, you see the guy like looking at him like, but he has like, he's super serious, like intimidating guy.
And he also didn't have a dental plan. The guy was like, okay, Mr. Rogers, you're on. Like, he was out of control.
I think that's wonderful. Looks like you just earned $20 million. And like everyone's like, you did it.
What a hero. He is a hero. Aww.
They said for somebody who works in TV, Fred Rogers hated television.
That's what his son said. He
Yeah.
goes, man, for a guy who worked in TV.
Because he must have, I bet he like over them, like what they watched was like a hawk.
Sure. And he also said like that the son said that at home, like during dinner or something, like if we needed a talking to, it wasn't like he would turn into like Lady Elaine or something.
They
like
said
that.
if he had to like do something outside of his Mr. Rogers persona, he couldn't even do it as himself.
Yeah, that means
It's
something.
a little odd.
Yeah.
So Fred, they said him
He's
and his
still
wife.
a great guy. Go ahead.
Him and his wife said they couldn't show they were angry as kids. She said that. And he said, I was scared to use words. I didn't want to be a bad boy.
Aww.
To tell people I was angry, but I could show it how I played the piano. He said he would really pound those keys.
Yeah, but not.
But he wouldn't do it like he wouldn't show it.
What if he
himself.
played video games, or maybe he was good at,
Oh
Nothing.
boy.
All right.
I think he had sex like
I probably
procreation only, and then like a few times a year for fun. Like let's get crazy. It's my birthday.
Let's not get wild. I'm gonna go wash my feet on TV with other men.
Fred's wife says that Daniel Tiger was the real Fred. I hate that they said Daniel the striped tiger. That word pissed me
I
off.
don't like that.
Say
Why?
striped. Striped?
Yeah, is that some people do say words weird. I like this. Now, whose toy is this that you
That's
stole?
I tried to get my kids. They don't like it, so it's basically mine.
They don't like it. And he's in his box.
They watch
He's got a box.
this
on
is the
his
new
head.
Daniel Tiger because now it's become a huge show now. Daniel Tiger though, like it's funny because it's all the Mr. Rogers stuff, but you're like, God, he's such a pussy. Like everything's like,
Yeah, now, 'cause
I'm scared of this. Like everything's scared of her. It's just so much anxiety. You're like, all right, Daniel, just go.
But that's what Mr. Rogers had, so that's what we had.
Yes, and he was dealing with that.
He
like,
gave it to us. That's what happened to me. Oh, all these revelations.
How good was
I can't
the
wait
clip?
to tell my therapist. I only got 2 left.
They showed a clip, another me freaking out about germs. Was kids? There was a clip of kids just one after another going up and kissing the tiger puppet. And I was like, "You're all gonna get stop kissing it all the same spot. Stop!
Every single one.
I could barely watch it. Just like,
yeah, I was like, no.
and he's just like
Same.
sitting there. And I'm like, oh, stop!
Because I would have been the kid that walked up and gave it a high five. Because I would have been like, I'm not kissing that thing that everybody else kissed.
I would not have kissed it.
And
I would have kissed
I was
his.
a germaphobe.
I would have said, I want to
way
kiss your
back.
bare hand.
Yeah. Ugh.
Take your hand out.
Even though I was a dirty kid, I was a germaphobe.
Yeah, I would not have. Watching that, I was like, stop. This is driving me crazy. Daniel Tiger, great scene on the show. This was another crazy one. He's like, there's something I want to ask you. What does assassination mean? And I was like, wait, what? What? And then they started showing the doc, not on the show, but JFK had just been killed. I was like,
Robert or Jet? I think.
Maybe it was Bobby.
Robert.
It was
RFK.
one of them.
It was RFK. Yeah.
That's another topical thing.
I know. I was like, oh my God.
What
this
is
is
assassination mean? And she was like, why have you been hearing that word? He's like, yeah.
But you see that all day on the TV. TV was so the only thing.
News was a big deal, yeah.
And so it was like there was 3 channels, so you couldn't escape news.
No,
you couldn't put a VHS. I don't even know if it was invented yet. I don't know when it came out. I know we didn't get it till the mid '80s, and I was very upset about it. We were the last to get it.
I'm surprised you got it.
Somebody bought it, Jimmy or somebody.
The last one off the
now
truck.
that I think of it, maybe somebody stole it. No, I'm kidding.
Serial numbers may have been scraped off of that VCR.
But yeah. So I'm just saying, like, God, these kids must have heard everything.
Heard their parents boning. Do you guys hear strange noise?
Daddy said he's gonna assassinate mommy. Is that what he means?
Can I ask you something? What's a dildo?
Well, Daddy said he has a pistol and he's gonna jam it
My
right
dad was
in
at
my
a
mommy.
comedy club and he pulled out his pocket like he had a gun. Well, you should never do that, boys and girls.
Do not. Can I ask you a question? Did the tiger have a watch on?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I remember
because
that.
he dealt drugs on the side. He wanted to show he was flossing.
I gotta go. I gotta wipe my tears now because I got a deal to make.
That's my pager.
I'm so sad. Every time I was like, why does this fucking tiger have a watch on?
It's time to go.
Is that a tracking device? Is this?
It wasn't an ankle monitor, I don't think.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe he's on house arrest. Yeah. He's a
Mr.
bad tiger.
Mr. McFeely, his hair was great. He had that kind of Captain Kangaroo, like forward hair.
Yeah.
But he was a crew guy, and Mr. Rogers was like, hey, you're going to be on the show. And he's like, what? He said to Fred, silence was his delight. And this was when an era as TV was getting faster.
Yeah.
Fred was just slowing down. The producer's like, he once put a timer on, said, do you guys want to know how long a minute is? And he just let it go.
Wait, that was for them or us? Like, for some reason, I thought he was teaching the kids.
Yeah, the kids. No, it's for the show.
Yeah. Okay, because I was like, I remember that.
But you imagine telling an
I was
advertiser,
like,
you're like, I'm just
wow.
going to let a minute of TV go by doing nothing.
It's a moment of silence. Nobody died or anything. We're just doing a moment of silence.
Just a minute, 60 seconds.
Full minute.
Just wasted time. But that was him. He did his own shit. The dude who played Officer Clemens, Francois, was
amazing.
Great.
Amazing.
They show him now. He's wearing like a dashiki, all these necklaces.
I know.
Big turquoise earring.
And I remember them doing the feet thing.
I do. It was a big moment.
Yeah, but you're thinking of it like because a racial thing, or because you're who's meowing?
They were licking each other's toes in the tub.
It started. Fred had some fucking gnarly feet too.
Tarantino loves Fred Rogers' feet.
What?
He put him in Kill Bill.
Oh, that's right.
He loves feet. He loves Uma Thurman's
I hate
feet.
feet. I'm not a feet person. I skeeve, but I probably would never be able to be Mary Magdalene in the Bible washing Jesus's feet.
Would you wash Mr. Rogers' feet?
No.
What about Officer Clemens?
No, but you can do it in the pool together if you want. I just skeeve feet. Period. To me, it wasn't a black and white thing. To me, I was like they're touching. They're in this.
It was a little tiny tub too.
It was like a little mini baby pool. But that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, it's so hot out. I'm just refreshing myself.
He's
I've
pouring
been
a
hot
hose on
plenty
his
of
feet.
times.
That would do nothing for you.
But my sister used to love to like lay out and bathe, and she would buy like little kiddie pools and lay in there to lay out. That was her, because she put the water and splash it on herself. But she put her lawn chair in there. Hilarious.
She's like, I'm at the
layout,
beach.
yeah,
I'm in the
the
water. Officer Clemens, the real life guy, Francois, said he didn't want to play a cop because he didn't trust cops, like where he's from
Right.
growing up.
Rightfully so.
He's like, all right, fine, I'm going to do it as long as it doesn't interfere with my singing career. And so for 20 years, Fred Rogers would bust his balls and be like, are we interfering with your singing, Francois? Are you
I think
okay?
you and Fred have a lot in common because if I said something like that to you, you'd break my balls for years.
Of course I would.
I'm a singer.
And Fred...
Ah, nothing.
Mr. Rogers said, though, to this guy, he goes, that's when I knew I liked you because you weren't going to kiss my ass.
Yeah.
Fred, look at that. Swear
Burn down
words.
the A word.
Swear.
Big old sweary.
He's like, that's not good. He said it to Lady Elaine.
But I
He's like, that bitch. Oh, I'm back.
Oh,
It's
you're
me.
not gonna kiss my ass. That sounds like a comic we know. So
Hello. Hey, guys.
is Jim Henson still alive?
I'm tired of this shit. I guess at this time, segregated swimming pools was a big issue.
Right.
So Fred, this was his way of not overtly dealing with it, but it was his way of dealing with it.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh, but that's the Bill Burr bit with the Bill Burr bits. But I gotta stop watching him. No, but this was the old one from a
You
while
watch him
back.
at home. Just-
yeah, right. But I remember him doing it at the store, but it was in one of his specials too. It was like, he's like, enough with the movies. There's always a crazy white guy coming in blowing a whistle. Get out of the pool! Like, I was like, that's so funny. But that's all I could think of this whole time.
They showed a clip of they were pouring was it chlorine or like bleach?
Yeah, that was fucking
They're
crazy.
pouring it in the pools of Blackie. Like, get out! I was like,
Get
what the
out.
hell? Jeez.
Although I will admit that when the pool was getting rowdy at the pool I
You
ran,
get a little bleach.
it wasn't bleach, but it was chlorine. We had to put chlorine in the pool. And this is, I said this to my sister because sisters, we were all three lifeguards there. I was like, dude, do you remember we used to make the kids sit on the side of the pool and then we would go around over their heads and pour chlorine in and have them kick it because our filtration system wasn't working well.
No way that's good for you.
100%. And people are like, why are people in South Philly crazy? I think that my sisters and I contributed slightly.
If you live in the Philadelphia area and you were affected negatively by chlorine,
Mesothelioma.
join this class
What's that
action
one?
lawsuit.
Mesothelioma?
Yeah, this is the chlorinothelioma. The Kerrigans poured chlorine down your throat.
Dude, we poured it right over those fucking kids.
Yeah, it must have been great.
And then we would do like they did, like throw. Nobody was in the pool, but they were sitting on the side. And then
And then they probably go in right after. I think you're supposed
no,
to
we
wait.
made them kick.
Get in there.
No, they had to sit on the side and kick.
It's not going to spread itself.
Definitely a felony, Jeff. This is probably what I'm going to get arrested for. But then somebody must have been paying attention and was like, you must have them exit the pool area when you put the chlorine in.
It's like an inspector's like, I got to check this place out. Mr.
Shout out
Rogers,
to Dennis.
speaking of swimming, they show him at his
Right.
athletic club. When he started there, and there's still athletic clubs I've heard that are like this. They're so old school that it's men's only swims.
Oh, yeah.
Because remember, the YMCA was young men's,
Sure.
and the YWCA was young women's.
Yes. Everything segregation.
It was naked swimming, and that he would swim laps naked, and that's why this journalist said he went and he just saw this guy swimming, Fred Rogers swimming laps naked with all these elderly men or older men.
He's skinny dipping.
Look at that.
Got to get it out somehow.
It feels good out there.
There's a lot of repression in Fred.
He swam with a sweater, no pants, like Winnie the Pooh,
He wore his sneakers. He changed his shoes.
into aqua socks.
He'd throw it up.
Did you notice anything about Mr. Rogers' swimming style? 'Cause they did show him swimming. I noticed a couple things
What
that
did
stood
you
out to me
notice?
as a former swimmer.
I'm a
He had a nice Speedo. I'll give him that.
definite great. You know
No
what?
goggles.
No
that bothered
goggles.
me.
A little bit that bothered me, but also I was looking more for the bulge, so I wasn't paying attention to the actual stroke. I just wanted to see: is he a Ken doll? Is he all smooth in front? What has he got?
You wanted
What
to
is
see.
going on?
You wanted to see the trolley.
Yeah, is he real? Choo choo.
What if he has a huge dick?
That's what I mean. What if he's in there just slinging? That's Mr. Rogers.
He wasn't doing.
Sweaters would make a huge comeback if he had a big dick.
He wasn't doing flip turns, which I was a little took
No.
exception to.
Yeah, just touch and go.
Yeah,
touch and
come
go.
on.
But maybe that's because he wasn't like he wasn't competing.
No.
That's a competitive thing. And you only do that if you compete. 1, 2.
Or if you're excellent.
like Jeff and I.
Yes.
And I wasn't a goggle wearer, I'll tell you
Really?
that. But I did it from time to time. But he would swim a mile.
I hate opening my eyes underwater in the
love
pool. Oh, it burns.
I know. I think it could be how I got cancer in my little. But no, I'm kidding.
It's the chlorine.
The chlorine we just put in, and I had to spread around myself. But definitely, I didn't like goggles. I didn't wear them all the time.
That's unconventional.
I always wore a bathing cap, but I did not wear a goggles.
They said he would swim a mile. Very just like a
slow.
show, a leisurely.
It took him 3 hours. To
like
swim
10
a
hours.
mile.
He's like, I got to go home and eat dinner. They said he would weigh himself every time.
Unbelievable.
This is the craziest Mr. Rogers fact out there.
When I put this sweater on that my mom gave me 30 years ago, I was like, what if it doesn't fit? And then I was like, am I Mr. Rogers? It fits.
He weighed, so he liked 143 because it's I love you is one
Right.
word. And if you had a pager, you know that back in the day, the
I love
143.
you. I never got a lot of 143s.
Sorry to
Send
hear
us
that.
some 143s.
On Twitter. So he would weigh himself, and he weighed 143 pounds, which is a weight he maintained
His entire life.
to the number since the late 50s, early 60s, which is, as an adult, it's so hard to go up and down.
Yeah, that's why when I put this on, I was like, this is not going to fit. I'm going to look like a fat guy in a little coat, you know?
Do you think he had an eating disorder? Because he was heavy as a kid.
Well, but do you think he just trained himself? Because he didn't look sick by any means.
But he was super
So
thin.
He was
And to
thin.
maintain one weight, not a pound up, pound down.
143 is
It's almost
thin,
like an obsessive thing that he had to
but
be
that's
that
what
weight.
I mean. He's a control freak.
Yeah.
The whole thing is, I mean, if you want to find his flaws, I wouldn't call them flaws. He was using them in a good way.
Well, he was
but he
insecure.
definitely was a
He's
control
very
freak.
insecure, too.
Insecure,
He
control
needed to be
freak.
loved.
Yeah. And he, like this kind of thing, if he figured out what he could eat to maintain, he probably ate the same thing every day.
Probably true.
Do you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like, this is my variation.
Like
There's
2 pieces
no
of
cheat
turkey,
days. That's
3
right.
almonds.
That's right.
A plum.
Some Brazilian nuts for the, crazy shit.
A Brazilian wax to get the weight down.
And to keep that swimming
Maybe
slower.
he's doing colonics, draining that shit out. Get your shit out, Mr. Rogers. Ryan Holtzman. It's colonics.
He's got a whole new bit about milk that'll send you to the moon. It's so good.
Officer Holtzman's here, boys. Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Brian, bitch. They're like, we can't use you on the show. We love you. Can't use you.
I already gave you the fact. Johnny Facts, least favorite comic. I told you that.
It's
right?
Brian Holtzman. Wow.
See, now
And
you
that's
can
a fact.
Now you can have a beef with
Yeah.
Johnny Facts.
Now we're even about me going to Philly.
But they were showing that, right? Are we there? Or
Well,
no?
they said the journalist said Fred liked looking at the scale and seeing "I love you" coming back to him. That's how much he needed love.
Yeah. See, I think he was a lonely kid that was just eating his feelings.
They called him
Then-
Fat Freddy. Mr. McFeely's like
Fat
Freddy.
Freddy.
I related to Fat Freddy. I
Fat
understood.
Freddy. I was like, Jeff's gonna be so excited.
I'm gonna be
about
crying.
Fat Freddy. Did that make you cry?
I was Fat Jeff. No,
Okay, so that
But I was like-
not even that.
I was like, I
caused
get it, Fred.
fear.
I get it. I understand
feel
it.
I feel you, Freddie.
They said he was bullied for being a fatso.
Yeah.
They're like, you have scarlet letter and you're rich, you fat fuck.
Scarlet letter.
Fever. Yeah, whatever. Same thing.
You give me fever.
you're-
and a letter.
You're giving me
Scarlet
saying the
letter's
wrong
something
things
different.
disease.
I am, and I love it. It's contagious.
Did you like when the crew guy, I used to do this, so I love this.
Oh, this is
He
perfect.
said if there was a camera left, the old school cameras, not cell phones,
Yeah.
laying around, they would grab the camera and this guy would take a picture of his bare ass.
Sure.
So when they would get the film, it was a nice surprise.
The great expression in South Philly was, "Oh yeah, explain this to Photomat," and they would, you know what I mean? Because you would go get your pictures at the little Photomat, and they'd be like,
So this guy, Fred Rogers, never said a word about it. months pass, and he gives this guy a giant blown up poster of his ass for like Christmas or something. And the guy was like, "What?" He's like,
wait, he never said anything.
"Here's your picture."
Is he this? Is he that? But that he made a fucking poster of it.
I was at a
with him on it.
I was at like a high school. Like, it was a small party. This girl's parents were out of town, and she invited a bunch of us over. And somebody had, I think it was
such a rich kid thing to do.
I think it was a disposable camera, and it was left laying around, which is always a mistake around me and all these animals I knew.
Anybody.
And so
yeah.
this girl's dad was like high up in the police of like a neighboring city.
Okay.
It's so, I think so. We did a line of us with manginas,
A line of coke
with our dicks tucked.
Shit.
Like 6 of us guys. Somebody put their balls on like their parents' rotary phone receiver. These were bad, like as bad pictures as you could get. I think someone spread their ass. Like, these were bad pictures. And then this girl's like, you do it and then you forget about it.
Sure.
Like a month later, she's like,
Because
what
it
the
takes
fuck is
so
wrong
long.
with you guys?
Yeah.
I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, I just got those pictures. She's like, that's my parents' bedroom phone. Somebody's balls. Just right. This guy's a cop. This guy would have been pissed had he known.
Oh, had she given them to him?
But that also came back to bite us because I think there may have been a camera mix-up where a buddy of mine, I think,
Somebody got an STD.
no,
from
I think
the
he
phone?
had photos or something like that, and his mom ended up
Parents are using
finding
the
him
phone.
when he moved out of that. And she's like, "What is
Oh,
this?"
shit. Yeah, yeah.
It's like people.
Yeah. We had to hide a lot of pictures.
Where are they now? Bring them in.
I have some, and me and my friend Melissa, I told you we used to do those wild photo
The lingerie
shoots.
shoots with her mom, right?
Crazy, but her mom wasn't involved in what we would do. It's just we have those pictures, and then we took some dirty pictures.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Speaking of dirty pictures, Freddie steps away for a while he wants to do a show with primetime shows for adults. I didn't know he did this. Did you?
No.
Old friends, new friends.
Old friends, new
He
friends.
goes to the prison.
Are
He
gonna
start-
roast you.
He's talking to a prison inmate.
Yeah.
And they said he did not make the connection with adults that he thought he would.
Sure, because the puppets don't go over well. with
Meow,
the
meow,
adults.
meow, meow, meow. Did you kill
And then-
someone? Meow.
What are you in for?
This
And then
inmate seems kind of scary. Meow, meow,
He
meow.
just starts
does.
choking out the puppet. Meow, meow, meow. He does.
He's like, do you want to kiss the puppet? Fuck you.
Okay, old friends, new friends.
They showed a guy looking at him. He's like,
Should have said old Fred, new Fred.
he's like, I got no hope in here. Like, just stared at Mr. Rogers. Like, this is a different show.
So sad. And is this where he started watching like the parodies of himself?
Yeah.
Like
He met Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy.
Because he hates to be laughed at.
When he was on, that's what I mean with the control thing.
He's like, a
And
lot of this isn't
to
funny.
not expect. I think Johnny Carson's was not that funny, but Eddie Murphy's was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was a funny take. on
Eddie's
it.
was brilliant. Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
He
was
said he
so
met
good.
him and Eddie hugged him. He goes,
The real Mr. Robinson. But see, that's a real fan that made fun of something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, like Johnny Carson, I get what he was doing. He had a hooker, whatever. It was funny, but it wasn't like as funny to me as Eddie Murphy's.
Yeah, that was great because it was a funny take on it. And he said bitch, which back then was like, that was not done on TV, was it?
No. He changed his sneakers. He breaks in the house instead. It was so good. It was so stereotypical. But he's also making fun of, because what Eddie Murphy was doing, he's making fun of a race of people, like black people at that too.
Yeah, just like making fun of
So
himself.
he's making fun of himself.
it's
He's
like
making
a
fun of Fred. He's
cultural
making
thing.
fun of all
Yeah.
kinds of shit. So it's too well-rounded to not laugh at. You know what I mean?
But I bet he still didn't love it.
I don't think Fred loved it. I loved
Tolerated
it when
it.
he showed the picture and then he goes, "That's me on the left." Really? You and Eddie Murphy?
But I think that was a joke.
I like that joke, Fred.
How good was Ass Photo Man, the crew guy, when he's like, he was cool with every kid. He's like, and there were some kids who were little bastards. They're rowdy. And he never
would've
said
told
that
him,
kid.
"Get the fuck outta
He's
here."
like, he never told him that kid's a dick. I would have. Some of the kids he hated. This guy was great.
But that's the truth. I mean, come on.
I can see this guy drinking a beer like on the job, his
These
crew, like,
motherfucking
get these kids out of here.
God damn, that kid cries the whole time.
Look at him, they love Fred. He's a piece of the shit. I love one of my favorite segments of this is they started playing Sugar Hill's Rapper Delight.
Amazing. Out of nowhere, by the way.
And then into
Big
the clip.
Johnny Facts.
I think they
Sugar
they
Hill Gang.
did it almost just to segue because they show Mr. Rogers learning to breakdance with this little kid on the cardboard box. It was great.
They were breakdancing in the streets.
I was dying.
He's about to jump down on a piece of cardboard or linoleum.
No, he
and
was
start
on the
head
cardboard with the
spinning.
kid. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
show me that moonwalk.
Yeah, but I mean breakdancing.
I was
He goes,
so-
what else do you like to do? I like to moonwalk.
I was dying.
It's really tough to plead your not gay case watching him pop black. I gotta be honest.
The kid was great.
I
He was wearing
love
like,
you, Fred,
He was wearing
but-
like an LL Cool J sweatsuit, like the
It was just a regular Adidas sweatsuit.
It was Run DMC. Sorry.
I have a million of those, by the way.
A big Mr. Rogers quote: "Most important learning is to expect and accept mistakes and deal with the disappointment they bring."
Yeah.
He's big on like, hey, life ain't gonna be great.
And he tells the kids like it is.
Yeah, he's like, this is how it
He
is.
tells them like it is. Also, can I say this about the Adidas sweatsuit?
Sure.
One time, this was a long time ago, I was dating, and that guy looked in my closet, and he goes, "Does Joey Buttafuoco live here? Because I have so many Adidas."
Did he?
No.
Okay, just checking.
Whatever.
This part got kind of sad because Officer Clemens, who they didn't say was gay until this point in this
Oh,
documentary.
you didn't see it either? Come on.
I didn't, but I was like, I should have seen it.
Shut the fuck
I
up.
didn't.
This guy was wearing dream catchers as earrings.
I just was like, this guy likes the I don't know. I didn't see it. And then I was like, oh, I should have seen it. I did scold myself.
And then he was like, "Okay, Fred."
Then he started- yeah, then he
shut the fuck. He was doing that the whole time.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
It, only when he
You
said
didn't
it.
see it. You didn't see it.
I don't see sexuality.
You're gayest. I don't know what that's called. Yeah, what's that called? Shit.
Homophobic?
Yeah, thank you.
How's that homophobic? I didn't
Remember
think
it.
he was
I
gay.
couldn't remember it.
It's accepting not thinking he was gay. It
Yeah.
isn't labeling him.
Eleanor's so unhomophobic. She doesn't even know the word.
I just got good gaydar.
So he was like, I would hang out at this gay bar.
Fred's gay.
And he would say whatever the gay bar was. He's like, and I had a good time there.
God, I'm good.
I was like, all right, easy.
So good. I love him.
And Mr. Rogers had heard about it. And he's like, you can't go there.
This
And
broke my heart a little.
he goes, you can't go there anymore. And the guy's like, why not? And he's like, you're on the show. Like, you can't be recognized as that. And I felt so bad for the guy.
Yeah.
He was trapped.
Because here's Fred open and loving to everyone.
Yeah. And
And
he kind of
then
scolded him down a little.
Here's kind of him repressing.
And the guy is like, I got married to a woman because like that was kind of what he thought he had to do.
And this is, by the way, if this is still going on anywhere in the world, please stop it. If somebody's
I mean,
gay,
it's going
let them
on in
be
this
gay.
country.
Anywhere.
No,
That's
it's
what
going
I mean,
on
but
everywhere.
But I'm saying anywhere in this country, in this world, wherever. This is ridiculous. Stop making people think that gay is bad. It's a real thing. And then they get married and then they ruin another person's life.
Or kids.
Along with their own.
Kids,
yeah.
too.
Other people's lives. Yeah.
So he gets married. He's like,
Leave them the fuck alone.
he's like, of course it didn't work.
yeah,
went bad.
naturally. She didn't like dream catchers,
He's like, I discovered you can't pray it away. Like he was like trying to be something he's not.
which is what I think they did to Fred.
And Mr. Rogers and his wife,
Sorry for mumbling that,
they
but
said
you
that-
heard me.
they had a lot of gay friends. Even that, but like, so this comes around. So don't lose faith, everybody. Mr. Rogers. This ends happily.
Exactly. I
But
was
this was like they said his wife was like, I just think maybe he wasn't ready at that point
and it's
to
also
deal with something like that.
to lose everything. He wasn't willing to risk losing because he would have lost his show.
Yes.
Things like that back then, you put it on it was a problem. Lucille Ball, I read her book and watched her doc, and they couldn't say pregnant. She could not only be pregnant, they couldn't even say it on TV.
She couldn't even say the joke Lucille Ball's deep, which was like what she always wanted to do. And they
Big joke.
that was her big closer. So stupid. Oh boy. You know who they got?
Play with your toy.
You know who was originally supposed to
Lucille
play
Ball's
Officer
deep.
Clemens was David Banks.
You were gonna say that. I knew it.
Richard Pryor's
Because
right-hand man,
When
writer.
they showed the Eddie Murphy, all I could think about was David Banks for a second. I just started thinking of Mooney, and I just started thinking of Whole Gang, and I was like, oh my god, because remember Eddie went to Richard, 'cause
Yeah.
Bill Cosby was giving him a hard time, and that was all that
Don't
shit
use
was.
the profanity, but you can be using the Spanish fly.
But it was like this whole thing. So I was thinking of that, and I was thinking, what if he put on somebody like David Banks?
Let me tell you something, Fred.
You want me to take my shoes off?
Let me tell you, I ain't washing my feet with those white
These are
ass feet.
alligator skin shoes.
Look at those lily pads in there.
Do you have lotion on your feet?
You got hammer toes. You can build a house with those. By the way, look up David Banks at home. Look him up on YouTube. Look up
please.
David Banks does like a bus depot show. I don't know what the hell. We found it on YouTube.
But we talked about it on here, didn't
Did we? No, I don't think we did.
Or did we?
And the guy starts heckling him because the guy's drunk in the crowd. And he's like, what'd you say, you drunk motherfucker? You tuna face motherfucker.
Oh, look, a white guy came up. No, not Chancellor David Banks.
Yeah.
This is David Banks. Oh, shit.
We found it on YouTube. I found it pretty quickly.
Oh, yeah.
On the tube.
But
He does like a bus, it was like some sort of conference or something for bus drivers. He's
so
like, welcome
good.
to the bus drivers conference.
So great.
And the guy starts heckling him.
Look,
Oh, here it is. Yeah, right there.
I used to be a bus driver. Oh, the baseball
gotta-
story. Yeah, me
I gotta
too.
Put
me
my
too.
phones on to hear some David Banks.
The late great David Banks, ladies and gentlemen.
This guy's like heckling him. There he is.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a pleasure.
Even
to
Fred fell down.
Yeah, because David Banks is coming on.
He's gone on to build quite a name for himself in the record industry. And he's with us tonight at our annual Bus Drivers
Look
Ball.
at the annual
Driver's
bus
ball.
driver.
The Reverend. Here he is,
The Reverend.
Mr. David Banks.
He's a
Oh,
reverend
man.
just like Mr. Rogers.
Yeah. Look at that lady. Oh, we're not going to see David?
Thank you.
No, I think it's just audio.
Oh, right.
Thank you.
That's the-
Boy, it's good to be back with some of my old partners.
Partners.
Bus drivers. I used to do it to death. I was a good bus driver. I was a good bus driver. If I told you who to ask, you'd get mad.
He's wasted.
Yes, indeed. I was. Wait a minute. What kind of shit? What? What time? Who come off? The models. Why don't you model your black ass out of here? That's what you mean model? I'm trying to do the thing. What are you trying to do, man? What?
You're drunk.
What kind of this is? I said I had some partners out here, some damn fools out here too. I see. I'm drunk. Yeah, and you ugly, nigga. That's right. In fact, with a face like that, you could peep through the keyhole and bust a blister on a brick. I'm drunk. Ain't that cold? A little tuna fish face, black bastard. Yeah, and you still ugly too, nigga. That's another thing. You could go in the jungle and be anything you want to be except a hunter. You could go in the coal yard and be anything you want to be except an engineer. And I still say you was an ugly, black, ignorant nigga. And another thing, that's all right. Tomorrow I will be sober, and you'll still be ugly.
It's getting hustled at the bus,
Absolutely
heckled at the bus
tremendous.
driver's ball.
One of the greatest. Wrote for Richard Pryor. This is the man. If you
David
wanna look
Banks,
up
ladies and
the
gentlemen.
baseball story is my favorite, but
At the roast. Check out the roast. But
Richard
little
Pryor
David
wrote-
Banks for you. He was originally supposed to be Officer Clemens. You can see why it may not go that well.
you want me to put my feet where?
What'd you say, Fred? you
ugly
tuna,
motherfucker.
you eating tuna, Fred?
You ain't funny.
Look at
Remember
those feet.
Remember when he referred to Boone? Oh, he funny
He's
because
like,
he was gay.
oh, okay now.
That was his word for gay.
You introduced me to that guy. He's a little funny now, ain't he? And then immediately after that, the whole time he was calling him like Miss Thang and all these names.
Oh, I see you, Miss Thang.
He's like, all right, girl. So
Tremendous.
Fred Rogers, he always sings the "I love you just the way you are" that song. Officer Clemens was like, "Are you talking to me with that song?" And he's like, "I've been trying to talk to you like that for 2 years."
Cheers. I cried.
And so he said after that,
I know I'm a crybaby.
Fred became like a surrogate father to him. So he finally accepted him. Like he's like, "I'm accepting. I'm sorry, basically.
Yeah, I fucked up. I shouldn't have done
You
that.
go to the gay club.
Yeah, go to the club.
Go to
get
the
it
glory
on.
hole. Here's $5 off.
Go
Here's
into that
some
closet,
lube.
Look at that guy's ass.
Yeah, he's like,
Get in it. Get in it.
Get deep in there.
Get balls deep, buddy.
No one fat,
Get
though. Only
Lucille
143 and lower.
Make sure they're 143 pounds so
No
you know they love you.
No slop.
By the way, I think the wife was 143 pounds.
She may have been a little over.
You are not telling me you love me by weighing this much.
Another famous clip is Mr. Rogers and my fellow Jeff, who was in the wheelchair. That was like a big clip for the show. And he sang,
Bawling during that.
he's saying "It's You I Like" to this kid who obviously had a lot of physical problems.
He was
the kid
having
no
a
longer
surgery.
alive because they interviewed his parents, not him.
The kid came back on later in life. When,
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Mr.
Okay.
Rogers was at something being honored for something.
Oh, and the kid came out?
And the kid
Okay.
came out, Jeff, and because he jumped out of his seat, Jeff. So I don't know how long he lived, but he definitely lived.
Okay.
And
his
he-
parents were like, it was a huge moment in his
Yeah,
life.
his parents said that they used he was his mentor. You know,
Well, he was
from
having
that
a big
moment on.
surgery, and they're like, "What do you want to do?" And they're like, and he's like, he
What
said
was
he wanted to
I
go on the
wrote
show.
it down what he said. It was a great way to describe what was wrong with him. He said the thing
Said
that,
like the nerves
nerve-
connecting my like brain to my arms and legs, like
the nerve that tells my feet and hands what to do, my legs and hands what to do, broke.
yeah.
And I was like, that is so sweet. But yeah, okay.
And Mr.
So
Rogers
he died
is-
in 2007.
Okay.
From 70 to 2007. Wow.
So he is
36.
30. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the award show he was at because Mr. Rogers jumped right out of his seat to Sam, and I was like, "Wow, that was in the doc."
This was.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that part.
There you go. That's nice.
I was jerking it
That's
for a
nice.
few minutes.
Just get one out. I get it.
I'm good with my
I
hands.
get
I'm,
it.
Mr. Rogers wants us all to know that child is not all clowns and balloons. He's sick of this bullshit.
Yeah.
And he wants people to respect childhood when you make programming for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Stop fucking around.
That's the
You seen the famous meme that everyone uses of Mr. Rogers when he puts the clown face, the mask on?
yeah.
It's like a meme online of like
No.
anytime a coach does something stupid and they show Mr. Rogers puts on the plastic clown mask. It's a famous. It's used all the time. You never seen it?
No.
Yeah, it's always.
I probably get mad and because
It's
Mr.
that there it is.
I have seen it and I'm mad now because I know exactly.
Look at him on the right. He's got a clown mask. Almost looks like a horror style mask. A red nose. Very scary.
Oh, this would put me in a hospital.
You kids want to be scared? One of the craziest scene, and I knew about this. I don't remember seeing it. Was him sitting with Coco the gorilla.
Unbelievable.
I was terrified for him that the thing was going to rip his head off.
Well, I was thinking the same thing, but at the same time, I was like, he's so lucky. But who is that? Jane Goodall?
No,
Is
but
that-
it's a woman. Looks like you again, right there.
I'm everywhere. Well, who's Jane Goodall?
She's
the ape lady.
She
though.
did Gorillas in the Mist.
Gorillas in the Mist. All right. So I guess I just made her that. But this woman, Coco, met a lot of people.
They
So
trained Coco to do sign language.
right.
Was the big thing.
But my thing is, I watched it. I remember seeing this in real time-ish. Maybe it was later. I don't remember. But what I'm thinking, did they sedate him or did they just raise him?
I think it was. I
'Cause
think
she
he,
raised
I think he
him,
was
right?
just used to being around people. But I wrote in my notes, there's not enough money for me to get in a room with this gorilla.
I
one-on-one.
definitely would sit with him like that.
I would not.
I would.
I don't trust dogs really. A gorilla, one false move and you're
I'm gonna say
fucked.
this out loud, but you're slightly a pussy. And
I am. I'll say it out loud. I agree. I'm scared of birds too.
that was it.
Birds are scary.
Yeah, like maybe 7,000 of them coming at
No,
you.
they can swoop down into your face at any time. They're unpredictable.
My grandpop said he was going to come back as a crow to my mom,
Ugh.
my
That's
pop-pop,
threat.
and he said because when they're in the kitchen talking, that's how they sound. And
Jeez.
so he said, I'm going to do it. When I die, I'm going to come back and I'm going to sit on your windowsill and I'm going to be like, and every motherfucking morning there is a black crow that's like, and I'm like, Pop, go away. And
Jeez.
people must think I'm crazy because I'm yelling at my grandfather.
You're like, you have any candy?
Ace wants to get out.
If you're gonna call your shot, probably not a good shot to call. To be, I want to be a crow. It's a lot better stuff he could have called with. Well, he screwed himself
But
on that
he's so
one.
cute.
No, him and the gorilla have like a real moment
No,
where
Coco.
the son was like, it was weird,
I would be
but
like,
there was something there.
I would be like, I'd squeeze him.
I was just like, Fred, be cool. One move wrong and you're done. It's gonna bite your fingers
I
off.
don't care.
Look at that thing.
I love
Look how
him.
huge that is
I
compared
love
to
him.
him.
I want to bite his face, and I can speak sign language.
They're about to kiss
Remember
right
Fred
there.
came back on the show,
Yeah.
like that scene where he was like, he taught me how to. And I
He's
was
like, isn't that a nice way to say hello?
But also, somebody else said that when they were interviewing, I think it was Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo Ma.
There you go. Yo-Yo Ma. Yo-Yo was saying.
His real name is Yo-Yo Mama, but he's short.
Yo-Yo Mama. Yo-Yo Mama jokes ain't funny. Wait a minute. what?
Lucille Balls Deep versus Yo-Yo Mama.
Anyway.
Roast battle.
But Yo-Yo Mama said that when he was interviewing, like he got so close to
He
him.
said it was unsettling.
And it's like what kids do, and he's doing that to the fucking gorilla right there. But
I would have been. I was so
look at
scared
the pussycat. Look at the pussycat. And
watching the scene. By the way,
now, if he ate the pussycat, that would make me happy.
my
Sound
hometown
like
library, Andover Memorial Hall Library, has a full-size Coco stuffed animal that's been there since I was a kid.
I love it.
And I took baby Barb there. And I was like, this thing's still in here. Thing's like fucking so old.
The only thing I don't like about the gorilla is his nose, but I like everything else. The nose gives me anxiety, like because I saw somebody get hit in the nose, and it didn't end well. And,
Oh, boy.
and so I have a
Was it Coco the gorilla?
No.
Is Joey Diaz named after? Is that why he's called Coco Diaz? Is that
like
why?
that. I don't know.
I fucking got balls like a gorilla, dog. Cocksucker. Hey, Fred Rogers.
Hey, Fred Rogers, I would have ripped.
What's
your face
going
off.
on?
Depending on how I'm feeling, I'm ripping your face off.
Still hanging
That
out with the
fucking faggot
kids?
Sweater.
Still hanging out with the kids, motherfucker.
Get away from my daughter. So good.
What a crazy scene.
I'll have to text Coco and see if that's. But he does COCO, not KOKO.
Okay, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he liked hot cocoa. Or maybe a cocaine reference, now that I think of it.
I like this.
Probably a little more.
I like this direction. I just, in my heart, I didn't want him to be sedated. If they raised him like that and they taught him to work with humans and talk to humans, but you know those, like the crazy
the
cat
leopards,
guy.
yeah.
They fucking sedate him, and it's like, oh, you can pet this thing. It's like, I don't want you
Well, they
to
said
do that.
Coco
Don't do that.
liked heroin. They put it out, and she is it him or she? He or she?
It's none of my business, but they did heroin. I don't know what he
Yeah, to hang out with
I don't
Fred
know what they identify as.
There's a big backlash against Mr. Rogers now because people are saying he told everyone they were special, and they
And
think
I
that,
am special, Fred. Thank you.
and he thinks that the people think he made kids feel entitled of like,
Female. Coco was female.
well, there you go. So people are saying that Fred fucked up, but he says what I
he
meant by that
wasn't.
is that you don't have to do anything sensational for people to love you.
Which is what I love.
'Cause
That's
they love you just
exactly
you.
it. We always think we have to do more. We always have to be so big.
Succeed in comedy.
Okay, Jeff, this isn't your therapy. That's
Oh,
later.
sorry,
Now.
sorry.
But all that shit, we worry so much that we're not doing enough, not being enough. And why? You can
And
still be loved.
Fred's saying you're enough.
That's
you are
right.
loved.
That's all he's saying.
He's not saying you deserve the world. He's saying like you're good. You're valuable.
He also said, like, you know, if you see scary TV, you could turn it off. Like, this guy was way ahead of his time. Like, it's the same thing with like Twitter and post you don't like, fucking scroll past it, dude.
Or
you
just
have
get, or
that
just get off.
capacity.
Just
Get-
unplug.
Eliminate it. Yeah. Tag out. Something. Shut the fuck up, though. I'm sorry.
Freddie retires. His wife thought he was depressed. His quote to her was very bizarre. He's like, "Well, I miss my playmates." Grown man.
He also had stomach problems.
Was he me?
No.
Fat kid?
That's stress.
But I have
Jeff.
stomach problems.
Yeah, but that's stress too. And he was stressed because he was hiding something.
No, you keep bringing this in. I don't think this is your homophobia.
Maybe you're right. I love him, but
He
don't-
loved pussy. That's what he told Officer Clemens.
He did have a lot of pussy cats.
Yeah.
That's a cat.
Meow, meow,
meow.
meow. Want to fuck me? That's how they would do foreplay. Put the fuck. He's like, I can't talk dirty, but wait till you hear Lady Elaine.
Maybe he was just a nerdy, sweet man.
Yeah,
who
come
just
on.
really wanted to help people.
Stop being so jaded.
But he did miss his playmates.
they called him back to do promos on 9/11 for PBS. And this is oddly fitting to modern events. He says we're all called to be tikkun olam, that's Hebrew, repairers of creation, which is what's going on in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Like we need a little tikkun olam.
We could use some.
Could use some Mr. Rogers right about now.
What if Fred was the negotiator?
I don't think he'd be very good. They'd be like, "Speak faster, or I'm gonna."
What was he saying?
I'm gonna start freaking the fuck out. He gets sick. He's dying. He asks his wife, "Do you think I'm a sheep?" And that's because in judgment in your last days, God's like, "Are you a sheep or are you a goat?"
Right.
Sheep being better, and she's like, "Fred, if there was ever a sheep, it's you." And he's like, "'Cause it's you I like." And they made out passionately. But then they're like, that shows
they're like,
even on his
missionary.
deathbed, he needed to be loved. Like he always needed that affirmation.
Yeah. I wonder if it says 143 on his
Penis?
penis, and that you
On his,
can't
like-
see it until it gets hard.
You're like, whoa.
It's
I
like-
thought it was just a 1. Now it's a 4-3.
Whoa. This guy's. What if you can only get to the 1-4?
They said he had his dick extended, so it was 143 centimeters. So it's
Well, he did some fucked up shit. Like they would make him deal with some fucked up situations. Like, I forgot that I remember people talking about it, but when the space shuttle, I
watched that live in first grade
they brought the TV in
because she was a
right?
teacher. Christy McCullough, is that her first name?
Yeah,
and
but they needed him.
blew right
to,
the
like,
fuck up.
Whoa! I remember.
And I remember her teachers being like, "Oh, let's get that." Like they were like, "Oh, let's turn that off," because it went completely wrong.
We didn't have that. They didn't bring that in.
I was like,
We didn't get
"Holy
that.
shit!"
I
remember as a kid, we were all
don't
like,
remember, but I
"What
blacked out a
happened?"
lot.
Like, all right, let's practice our writing. I was like, "What the?"
Yeah, can you imagine?
That
Like,
didn't go as
"Yay!"
planned.
And then they're counting it down, and it fucking explodes.
Oh my
and
God,
they're like,
huge.
"Fred, how do we talk to people?" Well, I don't know. Like, if I was Mr. Rogers, I'd be like, "Bitch, get your own shit."
And he's like, "I got a show to
I'm
write.
fucked up for this.
I got to go play with my puppets."
Play with
Just weeping. Fred passes away. The journalist goes to the funeral.
Yeah.
Across the street, some nice people showed up holding signs that said God hates the gay slur word on the signs. And the journalist was like, I had to confront him. Like, that's what he would have done. Or like talk to him. Like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
do you think he's gay? Like, what's the problem
Yeah, what
here?
is it that you're seeing?
And they're like, no, he was supportive of gays. And that's bullshit.
And this is that what the hell's their name? That church.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about.
Westboro?
Westboro.
Baptist?
Yeah,
Yeah.
these trash.
You have to be a special piece of shit to troll a Mr. Rogers funeral.
You're
one of the
real
nicest guys of all
fucking
time. You're like,
trash.
this is my opportunity to get my stupid message out
He
there.
didn't let any of your dumb kids. He let them do whatever they wanted. He let them be. He let them feel special in a good way. And
it wasn't like he was even promoting being gay. It was just like he was a
No, he
tolerant
wasn't.
guy. It was like, and that's what they latched on to.
At first, he didn't, and then he realized this man is just a human, just like myself. And who cares what his preference is? Just like who cares what their belief system is? As long as they're a nice person and good to others.
Imagine being such a loser that you're like, Mr. Rogers died. Get our signs out. Let's like that's what you're doing.
Hand me my markers. We're going to Mr.
And the
Rogers.
journalist said, being with Fred, like my mind went to Fred's mind. And I saw their kids holding these signs. And I was like, man, they all look
Fucking
unhappy.
Kids. They didn't
And he's
wanna
like, and
do
I wanted to be
that.
like, I wanted to save them because I had thought of how he would have seen it. Like, look at these poor kids being forced into this bullshit.
And it was bullshit. That was mean. You should be ashamed of yourself.
There's a special place in hell for people who do that to Mr. Rogers' funeral.
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing to do to anyone's funeral, but
True.
particularly this
Yeah.
guy who was like a saint. I mean, that we know of. Who knows? Maybe there's some skeletons, but I don't think so.
he died a saint. Whatever he was, if he had some wild demons in there, he learned to repress them. They gave him stomach problems. But that's true. Like, you learn to deal. You might have a crazy gene in there that you learn how to deal with. I'm not talking about gay or straight. I'm talking about like
Just something in his mind.
something weird,
It sounded like
something,
he
that,
had, like-
something that fucked him up.
We said he had major insecurities.
Yeah.
He had a weight problem.
So, yeah, he dealt with a lot of issues, but he dealt with them well.
Famous quote, I think Patton Oswalt did this. Somebody did it after 9/11, or even some of these shootings.
Oh, yeah, I have the.
His quote is, always look for the people who are helping
That's
You'll
right.
always find someone who's trying to help, and it's like these mass shooting, whatever, what's going on in the Middle East. Like, it's always going to be
Somebody.
That's kind of how there's a lot of bad in the world, a lot of evil in the world, but I like to think that there's more good.
I try to think.
Yeah, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard, especially right
Yeah.
now. There's a lot of shit going on that's
It's
not good.
insane.
What you see on the news, a lot of things that are very bad, but I like to think that there's in the scales, there's more good, and that's how I get by.
That's what you hope for.
That's what you tell yourself.
You're like, okay, he's a good guy. I know we usually go into situations thinking they're all bad, but there are some good ones. But that is a beautiful
Especially with
quote.
kids, it's like hard not to be super
Sure.
scared of it or skeptical. Like, but
You
you have
have
to
to
think of like
be.
there are good people out
Yeah,
there.
like my mom's
Find the
generation-
helpers.
right? And my mom's generation, they grew up with everybody's good, and
Yeah.
they were a little too much, and then it just trickles down and it gets us all fucked up. But I'm with you, Jeff. I believe there's more good than bad.
Because otherwise, how do you keep going? If
And
you're
how
like,
would it
if
keep
we're
going
doomed?
ever? Yeah.
But yeah, I thought this ended cool. Mr. Rogers, they showed a speech, a graduation speech he did a lot of, and he was
Mm-hmm.
like, close your eyes and think of someone who helped you get to where you are. And they did that to all the talking heads
Yeah.
on the dock, and like a lot of them got emotional. They're like, the Asian guy they kept showing who worked, I think, at
Yeah.
PBS. So I was thinking of my mom, and like they were just. I thought that was a cool way, a very Mr. Rogers ending to this
Yeah.
documentary.
Because it was quiet. It was the silence.
And
It
you could
was
just
like-
see them like all like kind of
they were
ruminating
really-
of like you could see them thinking.
Yeah.
Who'd you think of? Your old boyfriend who's
Yeah. I was thinking of the cartel, and no, what I could do. No, I did. I thought of my mommy.
your family, by the way,
They're very close.
it's crazy you guys call your mom mommy for his street
We're
tough.
wild.
But then you're like, mommy.
But then-
I don't even call my mom
I
mommy.
torture my mother. I won't say they all do it.
But your brother, you played a call. He
Oh,
said
Charlie,
mommy.
mommy. Yeah.
Oh, but you guys
Maybe
are.
It's the way we talk. We like to put the E's. Johnny, Jimmy, Charlie.
It's just unexpected.
Yeah.
You would
well,
think somebody like me who grew up the way I grew up would say mommy, but I do not.
No, I torture her. I mean,
You guys
I
are
give
like,
her
mommy, and then you go
nicknames.
stab somebody, and you're like, oh, hey, mommy, give me a hug.
I cry to her. I lay with her. I torture her.
Well, have fun with your mommy. You're going to see her.
Yes, I'm gonna go bother her. She's very.
I think check this out, guys. It's
I say check it
it's
out.
not the fastest moving thing,
It's slow moving, but
but that's how he is.
if you get bored, take a break and go watch David Banks. You'll die. It's so good.
You
It's the
tuna face
polar
motherfucker. I
opposite.
don't even get what tuna face motherfucker means.
By the way, what a terrible insult! Like it's like when we in Philly we call people crumbs. If you say that, that's like you could get stabbed for that. Like that's you call somebody a crumb. Our mayor used to call people crumb bums. Frank Rizzo, he's a crumb bum. It was just like the worst thing you could say, and tuna face just makes me laugh because maybe that's his slang.
I don't
for-
get it. What?
still-
What did
you'll
you
still
say?
be ugly,
What the fuck's
motherfucker.
going on? He was like, she was shocked that it was happening. I paid $5 to get in here. I don't know what's going on.
By the way, the bus driver's ball.
I gotta get to that. I gotta hang out there.
Gotta figure it out.
The bus driver's ball.
It's
What
so
a
good.
weird fucking thing.
Like, is it a metaphor for something? I don't understand. Is it a code? Is
I don't know. No, it sounded like it was really about bus driving because he's like, I was a bus driver.
Drove the bus. He's a minister. He's a bus driver. What the fuck?
little bit of
David? He's
everything.
a comic. He's a writer.
He could write for you. You could drive your tour bus.
Shit.
You could do it all.
So funny. All right.
All right, everybody. Because
Thank
it's
you
you.
for listening.
We like you just the way you are.
That's right. Be kind to one another. Be nice to your neighbors.
Goodbye.